Welcome into the Sports Buffoons Podcast. Welcome on into a special Chiefs recap edition of the Sports Buffoons Podcast here back at the studios in Lenexa, Kansas. Oh my gosh, what an important game this was. What an important victory. Guys, I'm sure out there y'all are vibing right now. I'm sure everyone's excited about the fact they just beat a team that was sitting at 7-2. I mean, we should all be happy about that, right?
That's correct.
The Cowboys are a very decent team.
It was a winning team. It was a winning record team, a contender that we've been struggling against multiple times throughout the year for contenders.
Right.
This was a key game to win, a key game to gain confidence back as well.
Yeah, confidence back. And you know what? I think that some things that happened here in the last week or two carried over into this game for this team, for the chemistry and for the swag, honestly. Believe it or not, like, guys, there's some things that are not, you can't put into statistics. No. Some things are not something you can put into a category. And one of those things is like confidence. One of those things is some swagger.
Some swag. We saw that.
There's something else, like, I can't really remember what I'm thinking, but like, there's something else out there that, like, there's just something about when you're just hot and things go your way. And not to say everything went the Chiefs' way. The Chiefs played wonderful today. But, like, when you're on, you're on. When you're off, you're off. And the Chiefs were off at one point in this whole season, right? And so we saw a glimpse of that during this game where Travis Kelce had a pass go right off his hands into a defensive back's hands right away. And we're going, that's a little bit of a inkling or, old past Chiefs. But we know now that the Chiefs defense is capable of picking up the slack, you guys. Here's the thing. The Chiefs defense is back to pick up the slack, all that kind of stuff. So, like, this is just a good thing coming, good thing for the future. They're starting to get hot right now, which is wonderful. You know why? Because it's week 11, you guys. It's time to get hot, time to pick up the slack of where you've been messing up in the past. And this is a team that's starting to hit its stride in the right time, I think, Tanner. So what are your thoughts on this game? What do you think?
I loved seeing the, like you said, swagger. They were dancing on the sideline, right? They were dancing on the sideline. The offense looked good, despite Mahomes not passing for a touchdown, guys. After we got up 16 on them, I don't feel like we were going to lose that game at all. I felt like the defense was just too tuned into it. Yeah. They were flying to the ball. They were hitting players, as we saw. We saw Fenton go out on a nice hit, at least to keep him from that first down. So, these guys were giving up their bodies on that defensive side here today, and you just can't ask for anything more.
Yeah, the Chiefs are absolutely on today, and that's the main thing. Is like the offense, was it perfect? By any means, no. Of course, they had their own issues, but they've had off and on issues throughout the year anyway. And I think at the end of the day, it's like we're going through a situation. If you guys watched our show here this past Wednesday, I kicked it off by letting you all know over the past 4 weeks, the Chiefs, or 5 weeks, the Chiefs have the number 4 defense in the entire NFL. And after this week, that might need to be updated. I might need to let you guys know here coming this current Wednesday where they currently rank now, because they are absolutely right now, according to current NFL standings, a top 5 defense in the entire NFL, and that is amazing considering where we came from.
That's
earlier in the season. Chris Jones, 3.5 sacks. Could have been 4, but they wanted to split one with
the key tip ball at the end to get the interception to seal the game.
Oh, my God. L'Jarius Sneed all over the field. Travaris Ward, guy was just making plays. Good for him. Guy was one-on-one with CeeDee Lamb at the end of the half.
Yes.
And just made a wonderful play on the ball, putting his body in front of Lamb to make that play on that ball. And, that stuff like that is so important. And Ward is a guy who, he'll give up play here and there. It's not a big deal. He'll give up play here and there. Is he by any means a world beater, like elite corner? Yeah, no, not necessarily. He's fine, though. But, we got him making a play right there where it's important in a big stage of the game. L'Jarius Sneed making plays everywhere throughout the last few weeks. And you guys know how I feel about L'Jarius Sneed. L'Jarius Sneed is a baller. Rashad Fenton, of course, going out, making plays, of course, as well. And also seeing some of his swag. Guys, we saw them, like you just said, Tanner, dancing around on the sideline. These guys. Yes, they're people. These players are
They
also
are
people.
people.
They're also
Yes.
people with emotions and with swag. And guess what? They're bringing that swag now to the game, and they believe in each other.
So
That's the most important thing. They believe in each other at this point.
Chiefs Twitter, and I'm sure you'll hear this at some point, Chiefs Twitter. Can we be done with this fire Spags thing? Because I'm done with it. Like, the guy, he's turned it around. He brought Chris Jones inside. Willie Gay came back from injury. Thornhill got put over Sorensen. Like, adjustments were made, right?
Mm-hmm.
Adjustments were made. Even with Hitchens out, we saw two guys really step up, a.k.a. Bolton and Gay. And so he went Hitchens back. Neiman hasn't really seen the field that much anymore. And your corners are outstanding right now. If you're still saying fire Spags, go watch, just stay on repeat.
More than anything, they've listened to themselves and listened to results. Mm-hmm. The results were this, Tanner.
Yep.
Whenever Sorensen's on the field, things go wrong. And Sorensen's been off the field more,
correct,
right, lately than before. Also, Chris Jones, the defensive end, that was a failure, right? It did not work. No. Chris Jones now playing true D tackle back on the inside, goes out to get 3.5 sacks plus the battered pass in the game, gets picked off by L'Jarius Sneed.
Correct.
And, Tanner, think about other things. Like the linebacker situation. I mean, we're looking at Hitchens in there. That's fine. But what are the fans clamoring for? We're clamoring for Willie Gay, Nick Bolton. Keep Nick Bolton. Keep Willie Gay, Nick Bolton, both on the field at all times. The Chiefs are starting to do that. Hitchens had a few plays, but guys, we're not stupid. Like we watch the games too, and so do the coaches. Yeah. They know what they need to do to adjust, and they're making the right moves.
Going out and get Melvin Ingram to replace Jones from the outside.
Absolutely.
That's what allow you to put Jones back inside.
Yep.
It's that trade right there.
Exactly, because here's the thing. Now, Mike Dana, as much as we want to talk good things about him, and I like Mike Dana. I have no problem with Mike Dana. Mike Dana is fine. He's also kind of a role player, in my opinion. And always has been. Probably, maybe always will be. But Melvin Ingram coming in, setting more of an edge, and we're kind of getting used to that aspect of things, is wonderful for this defense. And actually making this, everything has to work cohesively as a defense. Here's the thing with a defense. It works differently than an offense because if one guy fails, the entire thing fails. With an offense, you can have one guy succeed and make the offense look good. With the defense, it doesn't work that way. With the defense, is if you have one guy fail, it's over. Here's the thing. Now, these guys are working cohesively as a unit. And the play calling by Spags is phenomenal. The blitzes. Just the guys,
time blitzes.
And they got pressure with the front four in this game, which was what I wanted to see all year. We haven't really seen it very much.
And Tershawn
Wharton showed up.
He showed up actually the last three games here, coming in for that relief. That relief role, give Reed, give Jones a break, and still produce some kind of pressure on the quarterback. So big props to him as well.
Absolutely. I mean, guys, keep in mind now the Chiefs of the last 4 games now are allowing 11.8 points per game during their 4-game win streak, which is awesome. And with today's win, as a matter of fact, Chiefs defense has now held teams to 17 points or less in 5 of the last 6 games. What a turnover. What a turnover.
We were just talking about, I feel like just talking about this team 3 weeks ago being the worst defense ever.
Yep.
And now we're talking about a top 5.
I had a full-on call-out on our show on a Wednesday about a month and a half ago about the state of this defense. And I told you guys they were playing at a rate that was literally the top or worst, I should say bottom 3 defense of all time. And I had stats to back that up, and I showed it to everyone. And now it's like something's like started clicking. We're getting back into the rhythm. We're getting back to where we need to be at. Spagnuolo has been known to do this, Tanner.
Yes.
This is something that's not necessarily new to where they flipped on a dime. What the heck? That's so weird. Well, Spagnuolo also, back in 2019, that defense was also horrid as well. We all thought, those fire Bob Sutton back in 2018 because he's so trash. And he was trash. He is trash. Spagnuolo comes along. Those first 8 weeks of that season were horrible. Spagnuolo's been known to have defenses that ranked poorly throughout most of the season, but he's also won Super Bowls. I mean, he also wins when it matters. And these defenses he's coached have also come into play when it means the most. Obviously, we know about the Giants situation
Yep.
and his tenure there. And I think that, obviously the Chiefs in 2019 winning the Super Bowl, there for 2020. I just think that Spagnuolo is a guy. He knows what he's doing. It's not like a situation where it's a complete failure. Willie Gay's back from injury. I mean, you're getting guys back in places where they need to be for this team to succeed
effective
long term. Veach has done a good job of, putting in guys where they need to. As you mentioned, Melvin Ingram, adding that addition. A guy who we wanted to begin with back in the offseason and ended up having to trade for in the long run.
6th round in the end.
Right, whatever. Who cares? And it's like one of those things where it's like we're making moves because we see the potential of this team. It can be a Super Bowl contender every single season that Patrick Mahomes is around. And so this defense needs to at least, at minimum, be average.
Yeah, it does. It does.
So,
and like I said, this defense is actually a pretty huge part of our recent winning. So we got to make sure to give those guys plenty of credit because they turn stuff around. But let's talk about the offensive now, right? I don't think they're as impressive as the defense by any means, right? We had another turnover today, 2 turnovers actually, because we had the Mahomes fumble from being chased from behind, and then we had the Travis Kelce drop interception. So, I mean, obviously, we still got work to do on this offense. We got to figure out how do we stop turning over this ball? How do we stop popping the ball up in the air to make it catchable for these guys? Because we almost had another one with Tyreek Hill later in the game, right? And all it takes was the wrong timing to have that happen. Turnovers is killing this offense, but luckily our defense has learned to be able to step up for this.
Yeah, it's tough, and there's really no way to describe it. Or really, in my opinion, no way to fix it. No way to fix it.
No, it's just unlucky is what it is.
It's just not working this year when it comes to certain things happening. Like I said during the game, I was like, okay, over half of Mahomes' interceptions now have been off a guy's hands.
Yeah.
And, that's just silly. And we all know and adore Patrick Mahomes, and he, for the most part, does everything right that he can. He had no touchdowns today. Who cares? Guys, who cares? For the most part, he did a damn good job protecting the ball, besides the one play that really wasn't his fault.
No, he did have 7 rushes, though, today. And they were key. They were first down runs when you had to extend the drive to keep pushing the drive.
And that's what you got to do. I mean, there's times where you got to be a little more Alex Smith than you got to be Patrick Mahomes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So sometimes you got to be a little more of that kind of a patient and passive kind of passer. And I know it kills Patrick on the inside. That's not what he wants to do. No. That's not who he is. You know he wants to throw it down.
But he's also the guy that's like, hey, if this is what's good for the team, this is what I'm going to do. And, if this is going to help get us that W at the end of the day, this is what he's going to do.
Yeah. So, Tanner, I have a question for you, though. So now we're sitting here with the AFC situation currently unfolding. The Tennessee Titans just lost a game. Oh, my gosh. Are you kidding me, Tennessee? You guys go out there. I understand that Derrick Henry. I understand Derrick Henry's gone
at home to Houston,
and you lose at home to Houston
in the rain.
In the rain. Whatever excuses we're gonna make it.
No, there's no excuse.
There's no excuse. It's stupid. But the whole AFC has been weird as hell for the past 3 weeks, anyway. I mean, the Ravens obviously had their situation come up with Lamar Jackson, ended up getting a victory, or at least over the Bears.
Yep.
But here's the thing with Tennessee, guys. I had a friend text me earlier today, and he talked about, everyone has a shitball game. That's the way he put it. And my thing is like this. It's like, okay, yes, but if you're a good team, you don't lose to the Jets and to the Texans in the same season.
No.
And you're currently, am I wrong, Tanner? The number 1 seed in the AFC?
It's bad. Yeah.
Tanner, the number 1 seed in the AFC now lose to the Jets and the Texans.
That's correct.
Am I correct about that?
That's correct.
Did Ryan Tannehill throw 4 picks?
And one of them
against
was Derrick Henry. Jets was with Derrick Henry.
Right, with Derrick Henry.
So that's no difference. And you had Julio playing.
But here's the thing. You have no excuse to go lose and throw 4 interceptions against the Texans. I don't care who you are or what you're doing. Guys, the Jets and the Texans are 2 of the bottom 3 teams in the league, mixed in there with the Lions.
Yeah.
And the Lions have just about come close to winning a couple games too. Ended up barely losing to the Ravens at one point, and the Ravens themselves have shown some flaws. The AFC is a mess. AFC is a total mess. Chiefs are 7-4, currently the 4 seed still at the moment.
Yep.
But guys, long term, like this whole AFC is wide open. The Chiefs could still get that 1 seed or the
They really
2 seed.
could.
Like it's so wide open in the AFC right now, it's nuts. So Tanner, my question to you: now that we're sitting at 7-4, we're going to see how the rest of the AFC West unfolds. Chargers currently at the moment beating the Steelers 17-10.
Yeah.
Do the Chiefs end up with the 1 seed in the end of this if they keep on this current streak after winning 4 in a row?
It is very possible. It is very possible. You got to remember too that Titans team also has like I want to say it's 20 plus players on the injured list at every week. It seems like. So not only don't they have depth, but they don't have good players playing replacing them either. So you got to think about that when they do go into matchups against good teams coming up. Yes, they had some nice wins against the Rams. Right, that was a great match without Henry, but the Titans team, I don't think they can sustain it throughout the whole league. Tannehill isn't a quarterback that sits there and will give you the opportunity because we saw it today where he threw picks even at the end of the game. Cincinnati could be another team that's inconsistent recently. They had a decent win today over the Raiders, but Cincinnati could be a potential threat later down the road. But again, too much inconsistency, and I don't think they're catching fire at the right time. They're almost becoming the Bungles at the wrong time here. The one team or two teams I think that pose a threat to the Chiefs of getting this 1 seed: New England Patriots and the Buffalo Bills.
Interesting mix there.
I
like New England.
I'm thinking of teams that are kind of all right. Buffalo isn't catching fire by any means, guys. Right?
No.
Today they blew it.
They got destroyed by the Colts.
But the Colts are catching fire at the right time. They could be another team. The New England Patriots are also catching fire. Mac Jones is figuring out the game, more and more. I feel like his weapons are starting to be used with Bourne and some of the other guys on the offense. They don't have a good.
Aguilar had a good touchdown.
Yeah, Aguilar, right?
Weekend.
But it's the fact that we're talking about the Chiefs, who could be potential 1 seed because the way they're catching back on offense, catching on, fire at the right time. Well, New England, Indianapolis are right there with them on catching fire at the right time, and the Buffalo Bills, just because they are, they seem to be struggling right now. You can't count those guys out.
Yeah, I like the way you put that there because we're talking about hot teams at the moment, and at the moment, there's some teams that are like literally they're deflated, they're defeated, because of the way situations they come across. Guys, whenever the Bills lost to the Jaguars 9-6,
nice.
Oh my God, 6-9, I should say, Tanner.
It's nice
for you.
And Josh Allen beat Josh Allen.
You know how deflating that was. You're not like going over there like motivated to like make up for this. We lost to Jaguars. No one's like getting excited or pumped from losing the Jaguars in a close game by 3 points. And then you go play the Colts, who have Jonathan Taylor, which is the best running back in the entire goddamn NFL. That's right. He is. Derrick Henry, we'll see if he comes back and how he feels. We'll see about that later on down the road. But, guys, the Bills are now just fully deflated. Not the same team they were a few weeks ago by any means. But the whole AFC feels that way. The Chiefs are not 3-4.
No, they're not.
Because they were at one point.
Yeah.
And there's other teams in this whole conference that are just wild. Like, at one point, the Raiders were successful. John Gruden got let go, basically. I mean, we would say, he would have resigned. No, it's bullshit. He had to be fired. That's the end of the story.
Yeah.
But we have that situation. The Chargers also are not performing up to par, typically for what what their old record was, and
Chargers are charging. The Raiders are raidering.
The AFC is just a wild card of randoms. I don't get it.
You got to be kidding me when you're telling me the Steelers are still in the playoff contention right now, and that's just an injured, beat up, old team right now. And I don't know. I just don't know how to take that. Like, if the AFC is going to have contention between so many teams, and I've heard people not even counting the Browns out yet, and Browns just don't look good anymore. Baker Mayfield is the most beat up he's ever been in his football career, period. The guy just needs to take off and relax for a minute.
The Browns,
It's just not good. It's not good.
they've turned into a joke at this point.
So if we go run another way, right? So we got New England, Buffalo, you got Tennessee, you got the Colts, you got Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Cincinnati. I'll throw Cleveland in, and then essentially in the AFC West, you got Chiefs, Chargers, Raiders, kind of all in one big bundle. Positions swapping out every week, something different, right? So it's gonna be the next kind of 3 weeks. See who stays hot, who can catch back on the train at the right time. And Chiefs, they went out. I think they played the toughest game they're gonna have in the next 3 or 4 games, right? Today,
Mm-hmm.
and today was the better.
Cowboys
team.
were 7-2, Tanner. Keep that in mind.
And they're a dominant offense.
And they
They're
barely lost
defense.
to the Bucs. And then they also barely lost their other game that they lost this season. I can't remember who it was. But
injuries or not, right, for the Cowboys, they're still a great team. They're still going to be right there in the playoff contention. I'm not like this is a good win for the Chiefs. This is exactly what we need to see.
Yeah, absolutely. That front 4 pass rush was amazing. Really defensively, the play calling was amazing. And the corners did their jobs. These guys showed up, showed out. Ward stood out. L'Jarius Sneed stood out. And then Rashad Fenton as well. Obviously, Pro Football Focus's number 1 corner.
Yeah. Hopefully he's not. Hopefully we get a good injury diagnosis, and he's not going to be out for a while.
I loved seeing the corners stand out today. The safeties. I mean,
there's your playoff picture.
You barely saw Thornhill, and you barely saw Matthew even today. Really, the corners were just out there doing their jobs 1-on-1. And yeah, the AFC is so wild, guys. So in the AFC, we get the Broncos still at 5-5 coming up here December 5th, and that's going to be the Chiefs' next opponent after their bye week. And the Cowboys the Broncos beat the Cowboys at one point this season here, just a few weeks ago. And I'm not concerned about that. I mean, the Broncos are what they are, and the Chiefs, or Patrick Mahomes, I should say, is 7-0 against Denver. I would love to see them try to challenge that.
It's been a weird year for the NFL. You never know. You never know.
Nope. I say full-fledged. The Chiefs go out there against Denver both times coming up this year and lay the mark down, because that's a team the Chiefs go out and dominate every time, and it's like not even close. No. Andy Reid, I don't know what it is about Andy Reid, but like he just destroys the Broncos every time.
Just has their number,
and it is what it is on that.
It's really what it is. It just has their number.
He just has their number, absolutely.
But I mean, I'm not downplaying any of our upcoming games. I'm just saying Dallas is the best team that we're going to face probably the rest of the year, truly. And
overall, I mean, hey, keep in mind we got the Bengals too. Bengals just flipped up on the Raiders, 32 points today.
That's true.
We got them coming down the road, but for the most part, it's all divisional matchups, and the Chiefs are hitting their stride at the right time. So as long as that's going on and continuing on, then I think that's the path. I mean, going into the postseason to look forward to. I said it 2 weeks ago, guys. If the Chiefs were to lose to the Raiders last week, Chiefs missed the playoffs.
Yep.
And as soon as we beat the Raiders, to me, that was the moment. That was the mark. And it was not just beating them. That was a dominance. Once that happened, this set the stone for the rest of the season. At this point, this was going to carry the Chiefs to the postseason. They're going to end up going to the postseason. At this point, possibly getting the 1 seed if things can continue to fall the way they're hoping for.
Yep.
And they're just hitting their stride at the right time. And I see this team right now, as they're rolling currently, it should be a great postseason run, I should say, against whoever they face, because the AFC is so weak. The truth is they're weak. Whoever they face at the end of the day, the Chiefs can beat them. We know that for a fact.
Great. It doesn't matter what seed, truly, but we just got to make sure we get in there. That's the big thing.
Yeah.
So, but hey, guys, thanks for watching here. Thanks for listening as well on Spotify. I will make sure it gets posted on there. But hey, make sure you catch us on Wednesday. We will be live around 8 p.m. Central Time for our Thanksgiving show, actually.
Yeah, pre-Thanksgiving show. I'm excited for that. It's going to be awesome.
We're also going to give our updated power rankings, which is going to be a hard one to put together. It's a lot of matchups that went down today. Green Bay lost today. Rams had a bye, luckily. Arizona beat, once again, another team with their backup. So there's going to be kind of a little all over the place, especially with the Bucks even having a down couple weeks.
So. The NFL's weird, but by the way, we will be at Mr. Brews on December 1st, correct, Tanner?
In
Overland Park. Check them out over there, guys. It's a great it's a little hole in the wall, basically, kind of a brewery bar kind of a deal. They got like something along the lines like 25, 30 things on tap, maybe even more. I might be wrong about that, but 30 beers on tap at least. I know that for a fact. And their food is amazing. We'll be doing our show live for Mr. Brews at that location, Overland Park, on December 1st.
That's great. So
I'm excited for that.
Let us know what you guys thought of the Chiefs game as well, and kind of what you think about the whole NFL scenarios going on as well with the playoff pictures. Put it in the comments. Give us a tweet. And we'll go from there.
And we'll see y'all on the next one.
See you guys.